Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the world's biggest stars and some of my favourite people, and we've certainly got one for you today. A lady who really is remarkable. I saw her live in London at the St James just a year or so ago, and then since then she understudied for Sunset Boulevard in the West End, got a 10-minute standing ovation, and now she's about to take the show on the road, opening at the Curve this autumn. Ria Jones is certainly one of the biggest and best voices in show business. How are you?
Hello, I'm really well, thank you. Wow, that's a nice introduction. Aww.
And then, of course, we look at your voice. So powerful, so natural, so beautiful. What a blessing that instrument is.
A big blessing, I guess. And, sometimes you take it for granted. Every so often you get reminded, and it does make you stop and think, I am so blessed, not only to have, to be able to sing and perform, but to have been able to, for 33 years, to do nothing else, not even a Saturday job, other than perform for my living. And I think, how lucky and blessed am I for that alone? Because I know so many people, get up and go to work, and they don't want to go and do the jobs they do, because, they have no choice, a lot of people. They've just got to earn a living. I'm incredibly blessed to be able to do a job that I really do love. Don't get me wrong, there are days I don't want to do it either, paint on a smile and that, but the minute you get out there, it's great. It is like a drug, really. When it's going well, the audience are with you and you're all on the same ride together. There's nothing like it.
Let's talk about one of the most magical, amazing and shocking moments in West End history, when they announced in the West End that Glenn Close was not available for the performance of Sunset, and the understudy, Miss Ria Jones, yourself, had to go on to booze. You turned that around into a standing ovation, which was extraordinary. What a career-defining moment.
Well, I think people always do love the underdog. I always love the underdog whenever I watch a film or read a story and everything. I took on the job knowing that could possibly happen. If she did go off, there will be boos. But, I knew they weren't booing me. How could they? Because they hadn't heard me sing yet. They were booing the fact that they paid a lot of money to see a Hollywood star, and she was off. Now, there's theatre etiquette. Some people know, how to behave in a theatre. Others don't. But you don't really do that. It's a bit naff. But I also understand that there was a lot of disappointment, and if I'd have paid the money to see a Hollywood star that I was excited about, I would have been gutted and disappointed. I wouldn't have shown booed, but I would have, because I'm in the business and I know that there's somebody backstage waiting to come on. So, but people get frustrated. Some people had come over from America, all over the world. I still get letters and emails from people and meet people that were there in one of the 4 performances I was on, and are so complimentary. They start by saying, we were so disappointed and we thought, well, we might as well stay, we've come this far. And they said, by the end, we just want to come back and hear you again. And I just think that's the biggest compliment, but someone had to do it, I thought. Someone had to do it. And I knew the role because, of course, I originated it. When I say originated it, I'm not on West End stage, but I did the very first workshop for Andrew Lloyd Webber 26 years ago now. And so I sort of knew the role, and I'd done my homework. I'd watched the show from the wings every night. I knew my lyrics. I knew the music well. So I had 2 rehearsals, 2 3-hour rehearsals. That's all I had, without any dress rehearsal or rehearsal with the orchestra. But I knew I was ready. And when you do hear booze like that and everything, for me, my personality, I just go, right, let me show them. And it makes me want to just get out there and just...
But, you do know a lesser performer could have lost their nerve. That's down to experience, the fact that you're an old pro, you've been doing it so long that you could walk out there and embrace it, and by the end get that standing ovation. I guess that's the greatest payoff of your career to date.
Completely, absolutely. I was terrified, don't get me wrong, I was terrified, but I wanted, it was a real mixture of emotions, and I'd lost my dear friend Victoria Wood the day before, and I sort of did it for her. I just gathered strength and thought, you know what, this is just show business. This is like, nothing in comparison to what people go through in life. So I just thought, try and enjoy the ride, as terrifying as it is, but try and enjoy it. And after the first big song, With One Look, which Norma sings within 5 minutes of being on stage, at the end of it, they went mental. And I thought, oh, okay, they like me, but there's a lot of work to do. I've still got to get through the whole show, so keep your nerve, take it scene at a time, song at a time. And by the end, they'd really engaged, I think, with the character and me and the story and everything that surrounded it beforehand. And they just went crazy. And it really was something you wish you could bottle. And on those days of doubting yourself and the business, just, open the bottle. But I do have, luckily, I have lots of footage of the bows and lots of footage of my performance. So every so often, I just think, did it happen? Was it real? And it was an incredible ride. And like you say, by the end of it, there were people ringing up to see if I was on, which was such a compliment. But what touched me more than anything was the support I got from all the West End, people in the West End that I've worked with or hadn't worked with, and just sending me messages of encouragement and just saying, this is about time, this was waiting to happen, and just lovely messages of support from that community. The West End really does pull together, and they look after their own. And it was that touched me more than anything. I was getting messages from people I respected in the business just saying they were so thrilled for me and excited, and it's lovely, and I think an advantage as well of not being a name, not being a big star, is that the audience engage with the character more than they engage with Norma Desmond, because you're not sitting there thinking, oh my God, I'm watching Glenn Close playing Norma Desmond. I've been there before when I've gone and seen Judi Dench and Maggie Smith on stage, and as brilliant as they are, actresses, as brilliant as they are, you can never get away from the fact that you're watching Judi Dench and Maggie Smith. And I think, for me, it benefited me in the portrayal of the character of Norma Desmond by not being a big name, and so they just saw me as Norma Desmond, because apart from my friends who knew me, and I think that's good. They engage more then with the character in the story as opposed to the star playing the character in the story.
And we kind of knew it couldn't end there. Shortly afterwards, they announced that you'd be taking the show on the road. Sunset Boulevard, the full production opens at the Curve this autumn. And again, no greater affirmation. You had your opportunity, you grabbed it by the neck, you got your standing ovation, and now you're given the tour. I suppose this is every actress's dream.
I know, it was incredible. Michael Harrison, the producer, was in on my Saturday night performance, my last performance. And he rang me up the following day and he said, you have to do this. He said, that was incredible. He said, you have to do this. And, over the years I've had people say that to me, and you've had, promises, and you get excited. But I just felt that could happen. And then months later, there it was, the offer, #1 tour, UK tour, and a full production, and it will be. I mean, the production at the Coliseum was incredible, and it was with a 40-odd piece orchestra. But I believe the tour will have a good-sized orchestra too. I mean, you can't tour 40-odd. You just can't. Ridiculously expensive. But we do have an orchestra of around about 20, I believe, and a full set and costumes and lighting and everything. And Nikolai Foster, who's directing, I worked with on The Witches of Eastwick, and I recently saw him in Leicester when we launched the new season, and we're both so excited. I'm thrilled to be working with him again. But I'm, with all my history of the show now, and he gets, just chatting to him for 15, 20 minutes, we're on the same page. We both get her, and we're both excited by the character and finding all the layers of her character, because it can be quite dark in places, the show, but it can also be, camp and bright and everything, and funny, and sad, and, there's so many different layers to her and the show, and I'm really looking forward to see what Nikolai's going to come up with, because he's got a great mind, and he's done loads of research already. He's been over to Paramount Pictures, you know, in Hollywood. So he's everyone in the team is excited. Lee Proud, the choreographer, I haven't worked with him yet, but I've heard and seen his work, and it's fantastic. So.
Well, I can't wait to see you on opening night. I'll be there in Leicester at Curve. You can see Ria Jones. Yeah, I'm there on the Saturday night. Looking forward to it big time. There are few moments in show business which are electrifying. I think you had one of those in the West End, and I think every night there's going to be that moment where the audience go, we're in the presence of a star, and you have that type of voice that is the X Factor. It's the epitome of it, and I can't wait to see you in Sunset Boulevard. You can find out about Ria's other projects, www.riajones.co.uk. I'd love to do a face-to-face life story interview with you when you're in town, because you've had such an amazing career, and I think this will be your defining moment. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much, Alex. Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure chatting to you. It really is.
Lovely to talk to you. Ria Jones, starring in Sunset Boulevard, coming this autumn. Find out more at riajones.co.uk. Lovely to talk to you.